7 fun and free activities that keep your brain young, better than crossword puzzles. Have you ever walked into a room and completely forgotten what you went in there for? Or maybe you found yourself searching for your glasses, only to realize they were right on top of your head? Don't worry, you're not alone. These little moments happen to all of us, especially as we get older. But here's the good news. Your brain is a lot like a muscle. And just like your legs get stronger when you take a walk, your brain can stay sharp when you give it the right kind of workout. Now, you might be thinking, I already do crossword puzzles every day. What else is there? Well, crossword puzzles are great, but they're not the only way to keep your mind in shape. In fact, there are plenty of fun, free, and surprisingly effective activities that might just work even better. The best part? They don't feel like chores, they feel like joy. Today, we're going to explore 7 simple activities that are not only good for your brain, but also bring more color, energy, and connection into your life. These aren't about sitting in silence or solving hard equations. They're about living with curiosity, laughter, and maybe a little bit of adventure. So grab a cup of tea, get comfy, and let's start with something you probably haven't thought of in years. Learning a new song. Not just listening to one, but actually learning the words and singing it out loud. Music has an incredible way of lighting up areas of the brain that almost nothing else can reach. When you memorize lyrics, follow a melody, and even sway along with the rhythm, you're doing more than having fun. You're building memory, coordination, and mood all at once. You don't have to have a perfect voice either. This isn't about sounding like a pop star. It's about feeling alive. Choose a song that brings back memories or one that just makes you smile. Maybe something from your teenage years, or a lullaby you used to sing to your kids. Play it once, then again, then try to sing along. You'll be amazed at how your brain starts to recall the lines, the beat, the little hums in between. And each time you do that, your memory pathways are firing, strengthening, growing. Now, while we're on the topic of memories, let me ask you this. When was the last time you shared a story from your past? Something funny? Something touching? Or even something a little embarrassing? Storytelling is one of the most powerful brain exercises we have, and best of all, it comes naturally. When you tell a story, you're not just remembering facts. You're pulling from emotion, sensory details, dialogue, and even movement. Your brain has to reach into its library of experiences and pull out pieces to create a vivid, complete picture. But don't keep those stories locked up inside. Share them, maybe over the phone with an old friend, or during a visit with your grandchildren. Better yet, start a little storytelling circle. Maybe at your local community center, or just with your neighbors. One person starts with a memory, and everyone else joins in with theirs. Not only does this give your brain a workout, but it also brings people together in the most beautiful way. And as it turns out, social connection is one of the best protectors against memory loss and decline. There's something else that might surprise you. It's free, it's easy, and it only takes a few minutes a day. Learning a few words of a new language. Yes, even just 5 or 10 words a week. You don't have to aim for fluency. This isn't about impressing anyone or passing a test. It's about challenging your brain in a fresh, exciting way. Studies have shown that learning a second language, even at a basic level, stimulates parts of the brain that often go underused in daily life. It boosts concentration, memory, and even creativity. Start small. Pick a language that fascinates you. Maybe it's Italian because you've always dreamed of visiting Rome, or Japanese because you love their poetry. There are free apps and videos online, or even library books that make it easy. Write down a few new words each day and try using them in silly sentences. Say them out loud. Laugh when you mess up. That laughter, by the way, is helping your brain too. You're not just memorizing. You're engaging, interacting, and expanding your mental world. Now think about this. What if staying sharp didn't require sitting down with a puzzle at all? What if it meant getting up and dancing instead? That's right, dancing. Even if it's just in your living room, even if your steps aren't as quick as they used to be. Dancing combines movement, rhythm, coordination, and joy, and it activates both your brain and your body at the same time. It's one of the rare activities that works on memory, timing, and balance, all of which are crucial as we age. Put on a favorite old song and let yourself move however you like. No judgment. No fancy steps. Just move. Let your arms swing, your feet slide, your hips sway. Your brain has to track the rhythm, adjust your movements, and keep your balance, all in real time. And while you're doing that, you're releasing feel-good chemicals like dopamine and endorphins that lift your mood and reduce stress. And speaking of stress, that brings me to something else that's simple yet powerful. But before we get there, let's take a moment to talk about something that doesn't always get the attention it deserves. Laughter. Not just the polite chuckle you give when someone tells a corny joke, but real, deep, belly laughter. The kind that makes your eyes squint and your cheeks hurt. You might not think of laughter as a brain activity, but let me tell you, it's one of the best mental workouts out there. When you laugh, your brain lights up in several areas at once. It has to process timing, language, facial expressions, and social cues. And on top of that, it releases a wave of feel-good chemicals that reduce stress, improve mood, and even strengthen your immune system. Think about the last time you laughed so hard you had to catch your breath. Maybe it was while watching a funny video or sharing a memory with an old friend. Those moments don't just feel good. They're actually preserving your mental health in powerful ways. So make time for laughter. Call that friend who always cracks you up. Watch an old comedy show you used to love. Even better, laugh at yourself. We've all done silly things. Why not find joy in them? Now, let's switch gears a little. I want to ask you something personal. When was the last time you did something with your hands? Something creative. Not for work or chores, but just for the joy of it. Maybe it was painting or knitting or even planting flowers in the garden. If it's been a while, this might be the perfect time to revisit it, because creative hands equal an active mind. When you engage in any kind of hands-on project, especially one that involves color, pattern, or design, your brain kicks into high gear. It has to plan, problem-solve, coordinate, and imagine. And the best part? It's incredibly relaxing at the same time. You slip into a gentle rhythm, letting your thoughts flow, your breathing slow down, and your focus narrow in a soothing, almost meditative way. Let's say you pick up painting again, not to hang something in a gallery, but just for you. You mix colors, watch the brush move across the page, and slowly bring something into being that didn't exist before. In that moment, you're fully present. You're not worrying about the past or the future. You're giving your brain a peaceful, purposeful task that fuels both sides, logic and creativity. And if painting isn't your thing, try something else that uses your hands and mind together. Maybe it's crafting, maybe it's repairing an old clock, maybe it's baking something from scratch. The key is to stay curious and playful. Let your brain stretch in different directions. Here's another powerful habit that might seem too simple to matter, but trust me, it's a game changer. Talking to strangers. Yes, I said it. Start a conversation with someone you don't know. Now, of course, I don't mean sharing your life story with just anyone on the street, but making friendly, light conversation in your daily life. The woman behind you in line at the store. The neighbor you wave to but never really talk to. The man walking his dog at the park. When you start those small chats, even just a sentence or two, you're doing something really important. You're forcing your brain to adapt in real time. Reading body language, choosing your words, listening carefully, keeps your social brain sharp. And more importantly, it makes you feel connected. In a world that sometimes feels like it's rushing past us, those moments of connection can remind us that we're still very much a part of it. And don't be surprised if these little chats lead to new friendships. You never know who you'll meet or what story they'll share. Every person is a book waiting to be opened. And the more conversations you have, the more your mind stays active, alert, and engaged. Now I know some of you might be thinking, but I don't always feel comfortable striking up a conversation. That's okay. Start small. A smile, a kind word, a simple question like, "Isn't this weather something?" It doesn't take much. What matters is the willingness to connect. And that willingness keeps your emotional and cognitive health in great shape. And speaking of books, let's not forget about one of the oldest, simplest joys in the world. Reading aloud. Not silently in your head, but out loud with your voice. It doesn't matter if you're reading to someone else or just to yourself. This small act does big things for your brain. When you read out loud, your brain works on multiple levels. You're decoding words, shaping them with your mouth, hearing them through your ears, and processing them through comprehension, all at the same time. It's like taking your mind to the gym and giving it a full-body workout. Try it tonight. Pick up a favorite book, maybe a poem or even a newspaper article. Read it slowly, clearly, like you're telling a story to someone sitting beside you. Feel the rhythm of the words, the pauses, the punctuation. You might feel a little silly at first, but once you get going, it becomes surprisingly soothing and stimulating at the same time. And here's a little bonus. If you read something beautiful or inspiring, your mood lifts too. It's a small, gentle way to remind yourself that your voice matters, your thoughts are valuable, and your mind is still incredibly powerful. You see, keeping your brain young doesn't mean doing something complicated or expensive. It means staying curious, playful, and connected. It means laughing, learning, sharing, and creating. Each of these simple, joyful activities we've talked about helps keep your mind not just active, but alive. And when your mind is alive, you feel more alive too. There's one more activity I want to share with you. One that might surprise you with how powerful it is for your brain and your heart. It doesn't require any tools, equipment, or even a partner. All it takes is a little quiet time, a little patience, and a willingness to turn inward. I'm talking about daydreaming. Yes, you heard that right. Letting your mind wander. Giving yourself permission to simply sit and imagine. You see, in a world that often values productivity and busyness, daydreaming gets a bad reputation. People think of it as laziness or wasted time. But in reality, letting your thoughts roam freely is one of the healthiest things you can do for your brain. It activates your creative centers, strengthens your memory, and even improves problem solving. Think about it. When was the last time you just sat by a window and let your mind drift? Not to worry or overthink, but to imagine. Maybe picture a place you'd love to visit. Or remember a childhood moment that made you feel safe and happy. Maybe even invent a little story in your head about a made-up character or adventure. This simple act, so gentle, so peaceful, actually helps your brain build new neural connections. And it doesn't just help with creativity. Daydreaming also encourages emotional healing. Sometimes, when we stop running from one thing to the next and just let ourselves be, we gain insight. We remember what really matters. We feel gratitude for the things we've lived through, and hope for what's still ahead. So, the next time you feel like you're not doing enough, try doing nothing for a little while. Just sit, breathe, and let your thoughts take you somewhere unexpected. You'll be amazed at what your mind is still capable of when it's given the space to roam. Now, let's take a deep breath together. In and out. We've talked about a lot today, haven't we? Singing songs that bring back memories. Telling stories that connect generations. Learning new words just for fun. Dancing like nobody's watching. Laughing until your belly hurts. Talking to strangers and making new friends. Reading out loud and hearing your own voice again. And finally, letting your mind wander like it did when you were a child, lying in the grass and watching the clouds drift by. Each of these activities may seem small on their own, but when you make them part of your life, little by little, moment by moment, they become a kind of brain medicine. No pills, no side effects, just joy, movement, connection, and creativity. And these are the things that truly keep your brain young. You don't need to be a genius, a dancer, a storyteller, or an artist. You just need to show up for your own life with a bit of curiosity, with the courage to try something new or try something old in a new way. Your brain doesn't care how many candles were on your last birthday cake. It only cares whether you're still feeding it, moving it, challenging it, and loving it. And if you're thinking, well, it's too late for me now, let me stop you right there. It is never too late. Not at 60, not at 70, not at 90. The brain has a beautiful ability called neuroplasticity. It can grow, adapt, and improve at any age. That's not just wishful thinking. It's science. Real, hopeful, empowering science. So start where you are. Pick just one of these activities and give it a go today. Hum a tune, call a friend, try out a few words in another language, or simply sit in the sun and daydream. Whatever you choose, know that you are doing something wonderful for your mind, your mood, and your well-being. And while you're at it, why not share this journey with someone else? Tell them what you learned. Invite them to join you. These aren't just activities for keeping your brain sharp. They're also pathways to deeper connection, laughter, and meaning. I'd love to hear from you. What keeps your mind feeling young and alive? Have you tried any of these things already? Or do you have something special you'd recommend to others? Share your thoughts in the comments. I read every one, and they mean more than you know. If you found this video helpful, give it a like to let others know it's worth watching. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel for more tips on staying healthy, happy, and independent as you age. There's so much more to explore together. Remember, getting older isn't about slowing down, it's about waking up. Waking up to all the little ways we can keep growing, loving, laughing, and learning. You're not just getting older, you're getting wiser, braver, and maybe even a little bolder. So here's to you, to your joy, your memories, your bright, beautiful mind. Keep it moving, keep it curious, keep it young. And until next time, take care and never stop dreaming.